This is Monte Carlo, where glitz and glamour are the dominant trends, where you need style and substance to get that perfectly tailored look, and where only the top fashion houses have enough class to catch the eye. Well, we're about to discover what will be in vogue this year as we take an exclusive look at the 2006 collection, the fashion parade that heralds the start of a new season, WRC style. For 2 years, the king of the catwalk has been Sébastien Loeb, dominating award ceremonies in his white and red designer gear. The House of Citroën is no more, or so we're told, and Loeb says his transfer from French fashion giant to independent label could affect his star status.
The Zara was very good last year, but now it's no real evolution, and the other car are coming with the other team are coming with some new cars and new evolution. So I think it can be more and more difficult going in the year.
Double world champion Marcus Gronholm knows what it's like to be a trendsetter in his 7 years at Peugeot, but it's a few years since he's been the cover model, and for the last couple of seasons he's not looked at his dashing best, wearing as well as seeing red.
I'm fed up with this car.
So he swapped labels and colours for 2006, already looking good in a fashionable little white number at the House of Ford. Several gossip columnists already predicting that this could be the supermodel of 2006.
Marcus, last season it was red overalls. This season it's blue and white. What's your favourite colour?
For the moment it's blue and white, and it's a Finnish flag, so it's okay.
Peter Solberg thinks blue is still the colour, as he and the mighty Subaru chain aim to regain past glories and once again to look their very best.
I reckon so. Things work quite good now. We are working all the time to get things better, so let's hope so.
Other big names from the high street have been replaced with new coats of many colours, worn by some familiar-looking models. We'll keep you abreast of all team and driver news here on the Mediterranean coast, where Monte Carlo rubs shoulders with next-door neighbours France and Italy. 18 rally stages over 367 kilometres await the drivers during 3 furious days of high-speed action and drama. Twisting mountain hairpins, sudden surface changes, and vertiginous drops at the side of the road. So who will be crowned Mr. Monte Carlo 2006? Plus, like father, like son, what's it like having dad as team boss? Our spotlight is on 18-year-old British starlet Matthew Wilson. We'll give you a fan's eye view from one of the most famous rally locations in the world, as the WRC Hardcore braves sub-zero temperatures to hail their heroes. The Pirelli girls face a brand new challenge in the War of the Wheels. But will they measure up? All will be revealed a little later. And what's the difference between these two identical-looking cars? Keep watching for the answer. Last year, Loeb ran away with the championship in record-breaking style, while the top 3 dominated virtually every rally in the season, winning 15 out of the 16 events between them. Monte Carlo is widely regarded as gambling's spiritual home, and with the opening ceremony in Casino Square, it's a fair bet that these 3 superstars will be challenging for top honours again in 2006. From the spotlights of Monte to the snowy mountains where the rallying takes place, and the 2005 world champion Sébastien Loeb kicks off the action for 2006. And immediately establishes his dominance over the first couple of stages with a 31-second lead. The first 35 kilometres give a sense of everything that this uniquely testing rally is all about. Hairpin bends, changing conditions and treacherous ice. Loeb's prepared though. 3 times a winner here, he wisely chose studded winter tyres this morning. The narrow roads pass through mountain villages. No speed restrictions apply. Peter Solberg second off the blocks. And already already regretting his tyre choice. He went for racing slicks. Just watch him round this corner. He drops more than 2.5 minutes over just 2 stages. Like Solberg, Marcus Gronholm has never really shone here. And of course, for him, it's a new car and tyre package. His best finish in 7 starts is 4th in 2004. And an early scare for the Finn. Now this may seem a relatively minor spin, but it costs him more than 20 seconds. Rallies are won and lost by far less. Gronholm now looking rather more cautious on the slippery sections. He chose winter tyres, but no studs, and is perhaps rather wishing he'd been more conservative. He makes up some ground with his first fastest time for Ford on stage 2, and his 3rd overall. The problems for 2 of the big 3 give others a chance to get in the mix. And tarmac expert Gilles Panizzi steps up to the challenge. The Frenchman's driving a Fabia for Red Bull Skoda and is an impressive 2nd place overall after stage 2. Rally fans have been crowding the stages all morning. Only 11 cars got through stages 1 and 2, and stage 3 had to be cancelled. And that means a delayed start for British teenager Matthew Wilson. Fresh-faced but far from fancy-free, 18-year-old Matthew is just starting his first full-time job in charge of this. A 300 brake horsepower Ford Focus WRC. He's driving for the Stobart VK Ford team, effectively a B team from the Ford manufacturer's stable run by his dad, Malcolm Wilson, himself a former British drivers' champion. Following family tradition, young Matthew's already a winner at the national level, and the teenagers had a brief taste of the WRC driving a Focus in Wales Rally GB for the past 2 years. This year he's doing all 16 events under the watchful eye of his dad.
Well, Matthew, at 18 years old, most people want to get away from their dad, not hang out with him. What's it like having him as your team boss?
Oh, it's a nightmare. No, in all fairness, it's absolutely brilliant. You know, we've got massive help on hand. We've got all the people here to rely on as well. And obviously having my dad who's done Monte Carlo however many times, it's absolutely brilliant just to have somebody to turn to and ask for advice. So I can't complain really.
Do you see yourself as a driver in Matthew?
I hope he's going to be significantly better than I was. He will need to be.
You've obviously seen your dad driving in the old archive footage. Do you rate
a long time ago,
Do you rate him? Was he any good?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can remember going watching rallies from when I was, this big, and to have people like Ari Vatanen and people at the house, and you can learn so much even from people like that at a young age.
Do you worry about him as a father?
No, in fairness, I think his mum, Elaine, she worries about him more from that point of view. The bit that where I start to really feel the sort of emotion everything is when he's obviously doing well, because you're thinking, right, have they covered this on the car? Is he going to be okay? This next stage, for instance, I've done it before. It's a difficult section. It is important to get the experience, but on the other hand, you can't hold him back the whole time either. And especially when he's 18-year-old, you can imagine. I know what I wanted to do when I was 18-year-old. Is all you want to do is go flat out.
But the father's advice and team orders to his son: finish the rally. This year, conditions are making the event trickier than ever. A nervous moment on stage 4. But that's his first stage driven in anger, so it's not surprising it's taken the youngster a few kilometres to get into his stride.
Left, care left, right, plus.
But so far, so good for Wilson Jr.
Really difficult. There's still patches of snow and ice, and it's the first time I've ever driven on a slick with this car, so I must admit it was pretty difficult, yeah, but no, I mean, we got through it, which is the main thing.
But he's not the only one finding the going tough. His teammate Peter Schön has an even harder time of it. That off costs him nearly 6 minutes. And stage 4 pulls a halt to Gigi Gali's charge. The Italian in a privately entered Mitsubishi started strongly up in 4th place. But this ends his rally. Trouble for Manfred Stoll too. The Austrian has a full programme driving for the OMV Peugeot team. A 360-degree spin and some lost seconds. Even so, he's in a creditable 6th place. So, after 5 stages, the leaderboard looks like this. Loeb with a big lead over Gronholm, with Panizzi dropping to 3rd. Chris Atkinson is in the highest placed Subaru. His teammate Solberg isn't even in the top 8 and is a massive 3.5 minutes off the lead. In the afternoon, after a tyre change at service, Solberg's been running on intermediates for a couple of stages. But how much is it helping? The man with the answers, Subaru team boss David Lapworth, is in the commentary box alongside our man Paul King, ready for the start of stage 6.
It's a good time to join us as David Lapworth's leading driver has just rolled up to the start line. We'll see Petter off into the stage in just a moment. But first, let's use virtual spectator technology to show you just how big this gap is between Petter and his 2 main championship rivals at the start of stage 6. And David, well, that choice of slicks this morning looks to have been a bad mistake.
Yeah, it looks easy now, doesn't it, with hindsight, but if you can imagine the situation at 6 o'clock this morning with the first descriptions coming in from the Ice Note crews and a weather forecast that said in 3 hours' time it was going to be around 0. In fact, just a couple of degrees cooler made all the difference.
Well, this is what lies ahead for the drivers on stage 6, and you've moved on to intermediate tyres. Well, all 3 of your drivers this afternoon. Is that the right choice here, David?
Yeah, I think so. It's looking that way from the conditions.
Well, there is Petter, waiting on the start line. Off he goes. And we'll soon find out if those intermediates, David, were the right choice.
In fact, it's slightly conservative, but that's what you want when you see the conditions with still icy patches, wet patches, slush in the road, dirty roads. Those few extra cuts in the intermediate tyre just make it a little bit easier to drive, even if you lose a little bit of ultimate performance.
He's making his way tentatively through these icy, snowy sections, but he's safely into stage 6. Now here's Sebastian Loeb. He's ahead of Solberg, of course, on the road order, and he's already out on the stage. Well, it's been an impressive start already for Sebastian Loeb, and he's in this new Kronos run Citroën team, and they don't seem to be doing a bad job, do they?
It's pretty much business as usual, I think, for Sebastian and the team. All the key people are still there with him. He's had a very thorough test programme, thorough preparation. He's obviously carrying on where he left last season in top form.
And he's looking clean and tidy as always, even in these tricky conditions. I don't think you can really see just how icy some of these patches are. Oh, but he's got it all wrong there, and he's not going to get back from that. A rare mistake from Sebastian Loeb, and that will almost certainly cost him the rally.
They really are difficult to see, those icy patches, aren't they?
Yep, they certainly are. And here's Marcus Gronholm now, and he, of course, will take over the rally lead from Sebastian Loeb. He was running second, and it's been a good start from Marcus, apart from that spin on the first stage, and a very impressive debut with the Ford team. Just how difficult is it for these drivers to adapt to a brand new car?
Not so much for a guy of Marcus's calibre. Some drivers find it more difficult than others, but he's had a good test programme. He's had plenty of time testing, not only for Monte Carlo, but he's since done his Sweden test as well. So he's starting to get familiar with the car. For sure, more speed will come as he gets to know the car like a pair of slippers, but he'll be 95% of the way there at least by now.
Well, it's certainly been impressive so far. Now let's take another look at that mistake from Sebastian Loeb. What went wrong here, David?
Well, it looks like he's misjudged the grip in braking, and he's simply not been able to slow the car down enough. As he gets to the entry, he can't come off the brakes because it's going too fast. It won't turn in because he's still on the brakes, and he just runs out of road.
Well, none of that will matter to Marcus Gronholm. He's the new leader of the Monte Carlo Rally.
Marcus, you come through to finish first on the road. Obviously a problem for Sebastian. That means you're leading now.
Okay, yes, he went off in a very icy or something icy braking. It's terrible conditions now. I really hate this. I have been driving like my grandmother on those 2 stages before because I was not confident and things like what happened to Seb, it's so easy now, so easy.
Well then, drama at the head of the leaderboard, and unless Marcus's grandmother takes over the lead, he's looking in a very strong position, but that's not the only possible change in the leaderboard, as Gilles Panizzi looks to be in some trouble. He's got some sort of handling problem, and that of course means that your third driver, Chris Atkinson, might have a chance to take over second place, David.
Yeah, it's great to see his pace. You know, remember this is his first Monte Carlo, and already he's chasing the leading guys on stage time. But to be honest, what we're looking for here really from Chris is not speed. We know how fast he is. We want to see him get to the end of the rally with as few mistakes as possible.
Well, we can see here from Virtual Spectator just how far behind Gilles Panizzi is on this stage. He started the stage 30 seconds ahead of Chris, but that's his target time. He needs to match that, 19:43, and he's not done it. He's lost second place, and that means that your man Chris, he's now the runner-up behind Marcus Gronholm.
Yeah, that's fantastic to see. Whatever the strategy, to be in second place at the end of the first day is perfect.
Bad news, of course, for Panizzi, though. He's starting to slip down the leaderboard. He's now 4th. And there's even more good news for David and the Subaru team. Petter Solberg has climbed up 3 places on stage 6. He's now 7th, and that gives him something to build on.
But there's desperate disappointment for Solberg and Subaru on the way back to service.
Monte Carlo for me, it's incredible. The oil cooler broke now on the road section after the last stage, back to service, and then was finished. No chance at all.
Do you think you'll restart tomorrow?
The engine is broken.
The oil leak has caused irreparable damage to the Impreza's engine. It's rally over for the unfortunate Norwegian. And of course, Solberg's not the only world champion dropping out today. Sebastian Loeb's rare mistake cost him dearly.
It's difficult to accept in this position. I was first, I was leading with more than 1 minute, and to make a mistake in this condition, I don't like it, but this Monte Carlo this year is really tricky, and it's really difficult to stay on the road. I think it's the same for everybody, and okay, it happens, so I hope can repair the car this evening and start again tomorrow.
And if 2 world champions can fall foul of the conditions, it's no dishonour surely for a raw recruit to struggle. Matthew Wilson hit trouble on stage 6. He got through the stage but admits defeat on the road section.
We had a big impact to the front left, and it bent all the rim, but it's also bent the steering arm and the end of the steering rack. And we tried to change it, and basically it was too bent. So we put the old one back on and thought we would make it back to service, and coming along the main road it was fine. You could sort of average a decent speed, but we've obviously had to turn off and come up this narrow road, and it just hairpins, and it's just eventually worn away and snapped. So that's us, I'm afraid. We're stuck here.
So, after day 1, Gronholm has a lead of 1 minute 23 over Atkinson, with Tony Gardemeister now in 3rd after Panizzi's problems. World champion Sebastian Loeb remains in the running with hefty time penalties after that crash. The season started with a bang, a few crashes, and more than one unanswered question. Will Loeb get his car back on the road? Can Gronholm hold on to the lead for a debut tarmac win in his debut drive for Ford? And why are these rally girls so happy? Find out after the break. Welcome back to Monte Carlo, where the service park and surroundings have a familiar look, even if some of the cars on show have had a facelift or 2. And it's not just the cars themselves which have changed, there's also a new tyre supplier for 2006. Michelin have left the scene to be replaced by their sister company, BF Goodrich. Michelin, of course, have dominated the battle on the stages over the past couple of years, forming an almost unbeatable alliance with world champions Sebastian Loeb and Citroën. But when the Sports Legion of male rally fans visit the service park, for some reason their attention is firmly fixed on Pirelli. Mind you, the gorgeous girls didn't have too much competition. No sign of him this year, perhaps off to the fat farm to shed that spare tyre. So, what will replace him to fight off Pirelli in the service park's popularity contest? Surely not just tyres.
Now, Pirelli have the Pirelli girls, Michelin have Vivendum. What do BF Goodrich have?
BF Goodrich is focusing now on developing new tires, even better and better. When we have some time, we will think about something that we could add to the brand, but it's a very interesting question, and I think it's an open question which maybe one day we will answer.
Well, we can provide answers right now to some of your other questions. Like, whatever happened to Rally Australia winner François Duval? The Belgian, last year in the red and white of Citroën, is this year in a privately entered Skoda. After his maiden win in his last event as a works driver, he's trying to prove his worth and running fifth. Until, like last year, a mistake and retirement.
It's a really difficult rally and slippery. These stages is particularly really slippery. Tire choice is good, just on the braking is really slippery.
Henning Solberg, driving for OMV Peugeot, is making his Monte debut. But he's perhaps being too cautious. He's very slow over the morning loop. Dropping nearly 6 minutes over the course of 3 stages.
What was the problem?
The time is very bad because we have stud tires on. I am the only one who has stud tires.
Was that your choice?
And caution is also the name of the game from now on for Sebastian Loeb's Kronos teammate Xavier Pons. With a career best 4th in Spain last year, he has tarmac form. But he's not accustomed to driving on ice with slicks. He's 10th overall. Mikko Hirvonen's having problems too. The paddle gear change on his Ford broke on the way to stage 7, so he's forced to change manually on this stage. After emergency repairs, he makes better time on the following 2 tests and climbs into the points. Ahead, former Ford man Tony Gardemeister is impressing on his debut in a 307 run by Astra Racing. After the morning stages on day 2, he's holding 3rd place, just ahead of Subaru's Chris Atkinson, who's been struggling this morning. Gardemeister too having the occasional slip. OMV Peugeot's Manfred Stoll is going the other way, climbing above Atkinson and Gardemeister. He moves up to 2nd. It's a strong performance from the Austrian in his first event in the 307. A car that's certainly not the easiest to drive. Still out in front with a lead of nearly 2 minutes is Marcus Gronholm. The Finn doesn't enjoy the conditions and has never won a tarmac rally. And this mainly tarmac event is renowned for its difficulty. It's also famous for its scenery. This is the Eglund Gorge, one of the iconic sections of road in this historic event. Here's confirmation of Gronholm's lead after stage 9. Sebastian Loeb has climbed up to 6th, hot on the heels of the Subarus of Stefan Sarrazin and Chris Atkinson. Gronholm seems to have adapted very quickly to the Focus, immediately at ease in his new car. Or maybe not. An old motocross injury is causing Marcus some discomfort because the pedals are in the wrong position for his long legs.
The pedals are coming from the floor, and in the test I didn't have, but now when we do long road sections, so it starts to be pain, and the foot is in the wrong angle, so they will fix it, no problem for the next rally.
Are you getting old?
No, I don't think so. Yes, I am getting old, but still it should be okay.
There's always more to learn. As well as finding out how to make emergency repairs to the Focus, Gronholm's also having to adapt to driving without active differentials, one of the rule changes for the WRC in 2006. So So what's the difference between these two identical-looking cars? Remember our question at the top of the programme? Well, the answer lies in their differentials. WRC rule changes mean Skoda debutant Andreas Eigner can use so-called active differentials, while his more experienced and more successful teammate Gilles Panizzi can only use mechanical differentials. I'll explain. Every rally car has differentials, which essentially transfer power between the wheels, giving the car extra grip over different sections of the stage, particularly in the corners. Under the old rules, these differentials could be active, meaning they could be adjusted by the driver on the stages themselves, according to the road conditions. This season, drivers who have finished outside the top 6 in the Drivers' Championship for the last 5 years can still run under those regulations. So, for example, here we see Chris Atkinson in his 2005 spec car changing the diffs by twisting a dial in the cockpit as he drives. As for the others, those who have finished in the top 6, they're no longer allowed active diffs. Instead, the differentials are mechanically set before each rally and can't be easily adjusted.
The driver, before, from last year for example, can change the system corner by corner. Now he has the same system for all the corner, for all the rally. So it changed for him because before he can adapt his car for the corner coming. For example, the one of the corner was icy in front of him. He can change the system to have more efficiency for his car. And now he cannot. He can change nothing. So he have to stay like this for all the rally.
It's going to take time for the drivers to adapt to using mechanical differentials, as Sebastian Loeb found to his cost yesterday.
80 mètres. Et voilà. Ça va, toi, hein?
The car with a mechanical diff is a bit braking less strongly than it was before, and so I have to adjust my rhythm to the car.
So let's see if Loeb's adjusted his rhythm on stage 10, where we join our commentator, Paul King.
Well, the fans have been waiting up in the mountains for several hours now. Every available vantage point's been taken, and the popularity of Rally Monte Carlo is showing no signs of letting up. The organisers' safety helicopters even been called into action, making sure roads are clear so the cars can come through. And the first car on the road is Andreas Eigner, the young Austrian signed by the Red Bull Skoda team. It's been a real baptism of fire at this notoriously difficult rally for the youngster. The top cars are due through soon, but you can see from our onboard cameras that the roads are much drier this afternoon, so no surprise that most of the drivers have opted for slicks. And that includes defending world champion Sebastian Loeb. Ominously, for those to come, he's looking at his imperious best again as he looks to climb further up the leaderboard from 6th place. If he keeps up this momentum, he could put real pressure not only on Stefan Sarazan in 5th, but also Chris Atkinson another place ahead. Here comes the finish board, and that is a fantastic time from the Frenchman. That's 20 seconds better than his first run through this stage earlier today.
Sebastian, obviously today started down in 8th, but it's some time you've been setting in there. You could end this stage in 3rd. What position are you looking for the rally?
I don't know. I look to the best one, but I know that Marcus is far in front and that it's no change. But it's a chance to fight for the 3rd, or perhaps why not for the 2nd place. So I try to do everything I can. I had a good tire choice for this stage. I hope it will be okay for the next one. But I really done a perfect stage here, pushing very, very hard.
Well, Loeb certainly seems content. Here's Subaru's tarmac expert Sarazan, and he already seems to be visibly slower than Loeb. He's not quite attacking these corners with the same energy. Comparing his speed on this stage with Virtual Spectator, you can see he's already way off the blistering pace set by Loeb. He started the stage 21.3 seconds ahead of Loeb, but he already looks in trouble approaching this split point. Yes, Loeb's now quicker overall with just a 1/3 of the stage to go. Now, the question is, can fourth place Chris Atkinson hold off Loeb in his Subaru? The higher up the leaderboard Loeb goes, of course, the more championship points he'll pick up, so Atkinson could really help his own teammate Petter Solberg by staying in front of Loeb.
5 left plus 30 tights along 4, small line exit, 4D. 7 right tight pass, neat, 4D.
We're back with Sarrazin now, and he's approaching the finish. And look at that time, he's not just going to be beaten, but beaten out of sight by the Frenchman. 35.8 seconds slower on one stage alone. And it's not looking good for Atkinson either. He's struggling on this stage in his first ever Monte Carlo rally.
5 right open, 4D, 1 right plus uphill. Then long 6 left minus.
Oh, and that's a frustrating mistake from Chris at that hairpin.
Very slow 6 and tight.
The times coming through to us now show that Atkinson's going to lose out to Loeb, and even worse, he's now behind Sarrazin too. What a turnaround from the situation at the start of the stage. Loeb started behind the Subarus, but now he's leapfrogged both of them.
Late long 4 left, don't cut, neat.
And there's another battle going on over this stage. Second place Manfred Stoll is beginning to come under increased pressure from Tony Gardemeister in his privately entered 307.
Minus, macht aus, okay, lang bis Tafelprozent. 80. Rechts 4 minus, plus links 4 minus, macht zu, Achtung.
Gardemeister held second place earlier today, and he wants it back. The Finn is putting in a really strong performance here. So who's going to get the upper hand on stage 10 in this battle of the Peugeots? Just over 10 seconds separated them when they started the stage, but look at this, Stoll is already slower, but can he hang on to that runner-up spot? Well, the answer's yes, but only just.
Here are the standings. Gronholm with a lead of 2 minutes 11. Manfred Stoll's second place now under serious threat from Tony Gardemeister, and Sebastian Loeb in with a real shout of a podium position. Stage 11 is cancelled, so coming up next, it's the Col de Torini, a firm favourite of the WRC fans, who've already laid claim to the best viewing spots up in the famous mountain stage. The Col de Torini, a remote 1,600-metre high mountaintop in the Southern Alps, anonymous until the arrival of the rally cars. The Col is a magnet for fans, here for some of the WRC's most exhilarating action. Its iconic status has been established for years thanks to the atmosphere generated during the so-called Nuit de Torini, when the 31-kilometre stage between La Bolène and Sospel was run in the dark. People began camping out overnight to get the best viewing spots, and the party atmosphere continued by day in the cold and wintry conditions. Of course, the snow and ice can be a lot less fun for the drivers. The Col's icy clutches ensnaring some of the biggest names in the sport. But master the conditions and you join Torini's Roll of Honour. And once again, the fans have flocked here. This is a must-do experience for rally fans. Bring your flag, brave the cold, and cheer your heroes. This year, as ever, they've come from all corners of the globe.
We are from Bulgaria.
There are too many people. Too Italian. All Italian. Vicenza, Genova, Pisa.
So what exactly is it that draws them here? One of the most daunting challenges in the WRC. Rally leader Marcus Gronholm took soft tyres this afternoon, especially for this test. Even so, if he said earlier he was driving as carefully as his grandmother, at this rate, he must be taking tips from his great-grandmother.
Oikein laita vasen eri helppo.
These drivers are used to breakneck speeds. They're brave to the point of madness. So to see them at this pace, the conditions really must be hellish. Tony Gardemeister's in the long, twitchy 307, and this section, the descent from the Col, is especially tricky. Ice and snow, the brakes taking a hammering despite the relatively low speeds. But Gardemeister, though brought up on gravel, has a real feel for tarmac, and he's good enough to take second place from Manfred Stoll. The only man who goes quicker than the Finn is Sebastian Loeb. Remember, he thinks he can take second place despite the time penalties following his crash on day one. It's hard to put on a show when the conditions are as tricky as this. Adrenaline-fueled extreme sport it may be, but rally fans also respect skill. And the barefaced determination that gets defending world champion Loeb a fastest time driving with slicks on sheet ice. But if it's proof of the difficulties posed by this perilous stage that you want, just ask Loeb's teammate, Xavier Pons. He's looking very nervous. And spins once. Back on his way. Then, moments later, he spins again. The clock is tick-tocking away. He's hemorrhaging time. Okay, third time lucky. But hey, why not go for a hat-trick? You know what, Xavier? I don't think you've quite mastered the descent from the Col de Torini just yet. He's certainly frustrated. And it's painful to watch. But that's the way it is. The Col is a reminder that the best in the world can still look like learners. At the end of day two, Gronholm's lead is still more than 2 minutes. But there's a fierce three-way battle to join him on the podium. So, plenty to look forward to for the fans still high up in the mountains on the Col de Torini. They're preparing for a freezing night before the 2 reruns through here tomorrow. But all you have to do is sit tight until after the break. The final day of the first event of 2006, and Marcus Gronholm is in a strong position to take the headlines, while the defending world champion Sebastian Loeb is determined not to be left on the sidelines. Loeb made the news for the wrong reasons on day one with a rare off. On day two, he started his recovery, winning every stage, and on day three, he has the podium positions in his sights. So this is Loeb's first target, Manfred Stoll. The Austrian, in third place, starts the stage 33 seconds ahead of Loeb. But he's losing time. Stoll may have made his WRC debut 8 years earlier than Loeb, but he can't match the Frenchman's peerless ability on these roads. By the end of stage 13, his advantage has been more than halved to just 16 seconds.
This morning, split times aren't good between you and Sebastian.
Yeah, I mean, Sebastian is very, very fast. I don't think I can hold him, but I will try the best and hope he makes a mistake when he drives that speed.
With such mixed conditions, anything's possible. Tony Gardemeister still safe in second. But he must be getting worried too as Loeb closes in with another fastest time on stage 14. Stoll has his work cut out. Let's join commentator Paul King as the Austrian comes to the end of the stage.
Well, I don't know if Manfred can hold on to second place here. He's not far from the finish now. And there's the time he has to match to stay ahead. This is going to be close. Yes, he's done it. He's still third. And that's a great performance up against the world champion.
Well, the battle's hotting up as we return to the rally fans in the frozen heights of the Col de Turini for stage 15. Rally leader Gronholm still way out in front. And with his healthy lead, he clearly feels caution is the better part of valour on this incredibly difficult stage. He drops nearly half a minute to the stage winner, Loeb. No time to take it easy. He has one thing on his mind, descending the Col fast enough to climb the leaderboard. Manfred Stoll's lead over the Frenchman is less than 4 seconds. And the pressure on the Peugeot man is relentless. The Austrian is finally caving in. Faced with a full throttle attack from the Superman of the past 2 seasons, very few could stage a successful defence. And Stoll is a full half a minute slower. He drops to 4th. Well, here's the proof of Loeb's incredible recovery. He's now third, just 14.5 seconds behind second place Tony Gardemeister. Gronholm's lead cut over the course of the morning, but still 1 minute 45. Despite being surrounded by the luxury of the leisured classes, there's no leisure time for the teams in the service, as they make the final tyre choice of the rally. With such a big lead and only 3 stages to go, you'd think Marcus Gronholm and Ford would be pretty relaxed, but you'd be wrong.
Oikein, niitä on paljon mun mielestä, pitäisi olla se. Joo.
You seem a bit nervous. What's the problem? Tyre choice?
It's difficult. We can mix up everything if we take wrong tires now because it's so tricky, the conditions. It's icy and icy, but then many parts are melting and it's wet and it's really tricky which tire is faster.
It's a difficult decision. Slicks will win you time in some places, winter tyres in others. In the end, the strategy is to copy Loeb's choice, a winter tyre with studs.
Tony's driven very well, but I think it's very obvious. You just need to look at the times that Sebastian has done this morning, and for sure he's. We all know what his record is here, and he's. I'm sure that if he could have got the option to take a different tyre, then I think he would have obviously sensed and tried on for victory. But fortunately, we're in the position where we could see what he's doing because of his running order on the road.
It was really interesting at the moment. We take a lot of pleasure in the stages, pushing hard since 2 or 3 days. So now I hope we can fight for the second place, but no, it's really nice.
Marcus Gronholm talked about the treacherous conditions, and they've been causing problems for Gilles Panizzi of Red Bull Skoda. He has dropped out of the points. Also out of the points is British teenager Matthew Wilson. It's been a steep learning curve for the 18-year-old, but his dad says it's been a valuable experience.
It was so important for him just to stay on the road, and in fairness, to do what he's done in the conditions that there's been, I think he's done a terrific job, and to finish 15th on your first Monte Carlo, 18-year-old, I think, need I say more, I think there's a great future for him.
Proud father, and just as importantly, team boss, but Matthew isn't the only talented youngster. Danny Sordo's set to take an individual point. An impressive performance from the reigning Junior World Rally Champion in his WRC debut. No team point though, as he's not nominated by Kronos Citroën. Mikko Hirvonen is in line to score points for his team. The new Ford signings never finished this rally before, so he'll be satisfied with 7th. The highest placed Subaru is that of Stefan Sarrazin in 5th, 1 place ahead of teammate Chris Atkinson. With Petter Solberg out, the tarmac specialist has done a job for the team. As for Manfred Stoll, well, after 15 years he's finally earned a full programme. And marks the start of the season with his first ever stage wins on the final 2 tests of the rally. He might not have been able to keep Loeb or indeed Gardemeister at bay, but even so it's a good debut in the 307. So to the top 3. Sebastian Loeb starts the final loop in 3rd, 14.5 seconds behind Tony Gardemeister. He's drawing on all his experience, skill, guts and determination. In that mood, Loeb can be irresistible. On stage 16 he shaves off a couple of seconds, on the next stage he pushes even harder. Gardemeister knows the Frenchman is bearing down on him. And by the end of stage 17, he's only 6.2 seconds ahead, with 31 kilometres to go. The last pass through the Col is Loeb's last chance to claim 2nd place. He's having to balance the desire to take Gardemeister with the need to keep on the road. He's already slipped up once in this rally. Even Loeb surely must feel some nerves. Well, he's made it to the finish, but has he made it to the 2nd step of the podium?
Do you think you've got 2nd?
With Tony, I have no information. I was 6 behind before the stage. I pushed hard, but since this morning he's driving very fast, so I don't know. The difference shouldn't be big with Tony, I think.
He doesn't know. Well, let's join the commentary to find out if Gardemeister's managing to hold him off.
Tony Gardemeister is giving his all to defend that slender 6.2 second advantage. The early splits, though, haven't looked good for the Finn. Now that's the time he's got to beat, 23 minutes, 27.7 seconds, but he's still quite a distance from the finish. Getting closer to that time, there's no sign of the red boards. No, that's it. Loeb 2nd, a valiant effort from Gardemeister, but in the end, the world champion was just too good.
Well, that's one story done and dusted, so let's get back to the big story of the rally, as Marcus Gronholm comes through the stage. He's been a long-time hero of the WRC. And he's about to become hero of Monte.